The lawlessness or sins in Egypt. And again, we're going to see how these sins in Egypt were followed by judgment, but Yahuwah delivered his people. We know of the distressing times of Israel when their babies were thrown into the Nile River, when they worked hard under the heat of the sun, according to the book of Exodus or the book of Shemot. But what we read in the book of Yahusha is cruelty that is unheard of. And that's why I always talk about, there's so many other books that are out there other than the ones that we have in the canon that we have. So the book of Exodus is mainly revealing the sins or the evils of Egypt by, amongst other things, throwing the babies, Israel babies, to the Nile River. Amongst others, how they were working hard as slavery. What we read in the book of Yahusha, chapter 77, from verse 13 to 25, it's very disturbing. It reads as follows: Yahusha or Joshua 77, from verse 13 to verse 25. Thus says Pharaoh, do your work each day and finish your task, and observe the daily measure of bricks. Diminish not anything, and it shall come to pass that if you are deficient in your daily bricks, I will put your young children in their stead. I've never heard this anywhere, that Pharaoh said, if there's any deficiency in the daily bricks, I will actually put your children, Israel, instead. Meaning, instead of bricks, I will put your children. Hence, I talk about Yahuwah allows the ultimate lawlessness, evils to take place. I don't think there's anything worse than what they were doing, replacing children with bricks as they're building these cities that they were building. And the taskmasters of Mitsrim did so in those days as Pharaoh had ordered them. And wherever any deficiency was found in the children of Israel's measure of their daily bricks, the taskmasters of Pharaoh would go to the women of the children of Israel and take their infants to the number of bricks that are deficient. They would take them by force from their mother's lap and put them in the building of the bricks. I know to so many people this sounds like a horror movie or a fiction, but it was happening. This is the ultimate lawlessness that Yahuwah had to hear the cries of his children. And that's when then he came and judged Egypt and judged Mitsrim, thereby also bringing deliverance to his children, Israel. It says, while their fathers and mothers were crying over them, over their infants, and weeping when they heard the weeping voices of the infants in the wall of the building, and the taskmasters prevailed over Israel, that Israel should place their children in the building, so that a man place his son in the wall and put mortar over him, while his eyes wept over him and his tears ran down upon his child. They were forced because it was the men that were working. So as they grabbed the infants from their mother's lap, they would take these infants and make them the replacement for the brick, and say to the fathers, continue building, put mortar on that infant. How cruel is that? What more lawlessness can we hear or see beyond this? A human being, how can they do this to another human being? And the taskmasters of Mitsrim did so to the babies of Israel for many days. And no one pitied or had compassion over the babies of the children of Israel. And the number of all the children killed in the building was 270, some whom they had built upon instead of the bricks which had been left deficient by the fathers, and some whom they had drawn out of dead from the building. And the labor imposed upon the children of Israel in the days of Adikim exceeded in hardship that which they performed in the days of his father. How many lives of the children of Israel were lost? 270 is not a small number. Probably even more, not even counted. And the children of Israel sighed every day on account of their heavy work, for they had said to themselves, Behold, when Pharaoh shall die, his son will rise up and lighten our work. But they increased the latter work more than the former. And the children of Israel sighed at this, and their cries ascended to Yahuwah on account of their labor. It comes to the point where the cries of the innocent ascends to Yahuwah. And when that happens, he will hear and he will judge. And Elohim heard, and Allah heard the voice of the children of Israel and their cry in those days. And he remembered to them his covenant which he had made with Abram, Yitzhak, and Jacob. And Allah saw the burden of the children of Israel and their heavy work in those days, and he determined to deliver them. He determined to deliver them. Please note the order of events again. There is lawlessness. When it has reached its maximum, when it has reached its limit, Yahweh will come and judge that nation and deliver his people. So the lawlessness that we're seeing in our times has not even reached its limit. More and more is still happening. And it is for this reason that we should be repenting before Yahweh and telling people that judgment is going to come, because Yahweh cannot allow this to continue without judgment taking place. We will stop there on this looking at the lawlessness of Mitsrim. The next part will be looking at the comparison of the plagues or judgment that we see in the book of Exodus versus Revelation. We will stop there and move to another one.